Hello, 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 and welcome. Now, today we are going to be talking about how to protect your dreams. And before we get into all of the meat and potatoes of it all, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself, okay? So, my name is Nina Dafe, and I'm the founder and editor of the FarAboveRubiesCollection.com, where I help heart centered, visionary Christian women to banish the blocks that are keeping them from crushing their business goals once and for all. Okay. Now, in the last few weeks, we've been talking a lot about the significant women within Moses' life. We started off a few weeks ago talking about five particular women, his mother, Jochebed, the midwives that delivered him, Shiphrah and Puah, his sister, Miriam, and also his adopted mother, who was the Pharaoh's daughter, and what they had to teach us about collaborating, especially when it comes to fulfilling dreams. Last week, we kind of focused the lens a lot more on his mother, his biological mother, Jochebed, talking about what she teaches us about faithing it until we make it and how to do that. We're going to be continuing to talk about the lessons that Jochebed teaches us today in how to protect our dreams. Okay, now in the first video that I mentioned about collaboration with the five significant women in Moses' life, I went into quite a bit of detail regarding the chapters, so Exodus 1 and 2. I'm going to quickly summarize Exodus 2, verses 1 to 4, because that's where we're going to be focusing. So basically, Exodus 1 lets us know that the Pharaoh who was reigning at the time of Moses' kind of birth had sent out a decree saying that all Hebrew male children should basically be put to death. Hey, thank you for the likes. Thank you for joining. Say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're here and you're jazzing with me and all that jazz. But yeah, so basically, yeah, that Pharaoh wanted all the Hebrew male children killed because he was afraid of the Israelites' great number and thought that they would team up with his enemies. Okay, so when we fast forward into Exodus 2, the midwives have not obeyed that command. They have spared Moses' life and every other male child's life. And Jochebed is continuing to take a stand by actually keeping him alive and hiding him. She's hid him now. Hey, Amy, thank you for joining. I don't think I've had you on a live before, so it's great to have you. But yeah, so basically Jochebed's continuing the mission. She's hiding him because she sees that he's a child of significance. But basically the Bible says that when he got to about 3 or 4 months old, she decided that he basically couldn't be hidden anymore. And so that's when she put him in the little Moses basket in the reeds to be discovered. Okay. And so we see that, of course, she hid her birth child. But of course, when we have ideas, when we have business goals, when we have, gifts that God has given us, then we are also pregnant with purpose. So pregnancy is not just a physical thing with natural children. We also have it in the spiritual realm with our goals and dreams as well. Because Proverbs 4:23 says that out of our minds or out of our hearts bring forth the issue of life. Right? So our minds are like our spiritual wombs. Hey guys, say hi. So in order to protect our dreams, the very first step is to be discreet. So Proverbs 2 verse 11 says that when we are discreet, we basically preserve ourselves. Not only do we preserve ourselves, we also preserve our dreams. I'm looking down now because I actually want to share the definition of what discreet means. Before I do that, I can see I've got a question. You know, it's going to keep me in prayer, going through a lot of stuff. Oh, Amy, absolutely. I can definitely keep you in prayer. In fact, what I can do is when I finish going through all of this, I can shot a little prayer for you as well. No problem. But yeah, so the definition of the word discreet is basically to be judicious in one's conduct or speech, basically maintaining silence about something of a delicate nature, being prudent or circumspect. So basically, I find that some people tend to mistake being discreet with being secretive. And we can see from the definition that there's actually a difference. It's like when a woman in the natural is pregnant, the first sort of trimester, she doesn't go around broadcasting to everybody because she's still kind of in the risky stages where, you know, something could go wrong with the pregnancy. So she might tell her nearest and dearest, but actually might not tell wider people until it becomes evident that she's pregnant and she's out of that kind of risky zone. And that's how we need to treat our goals and dreams. We see in the story of Joseph, you know, like when we were talking about Asenath and all of the women surrounding him, that because he released his dream prematurely and shared it with the wrong people, i.e. his brothers, that actually almost caused his destruction. And that's the reason he got sold into slavery and, you know, all of the things that, you know, the kind of misfortunate things that befell him. And it's the same with us. We need to be very careful who we're sharing our dreams with, but we also need to be very careful that we're not sharing them too prematurely before they're kind of old enough or mature enough to kind of stand on their own 2 feet. So that's definitely the first thing. Be discreet. That's what Jochebed did, right? So she literally hid Moses until he was a good few months old, until, you know, she felt comfortable enough to give him up for adoption. So we see that modeled through her, and that's definitely the first part or the first half of protecting our dreams. Okay. Number 2, how to protect your dream. So number 1 was be discreet. Number 2 is steer clear of dream killers. So the dream killers in this story is basically represented by the Pharaoh who sent out the decree that all the Hebrew male children should be put to death. But the dream killers in our lives look like things like haters. So I talked about Joseph's brothers. They were like the ultimate haters, right? They were ready to kill him because of their jealousy of how much his father loved him and how much God obviously loved him, to the point that, you know, he wanted to promote him. We need to know who is for us and who is against us in our lives. Yeah, so steer clear of dream killers like haters. The other kind of dream killers that we need to steer clear of, and once again, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I don't want to miss anything for you guys. Negative or limiting belief systems. Remember, I quoted in the beginning what Proverbs 4:23 says, that out of our minds spring forth the issues of life. So the fact of the matter is that, you know, if our minds are springing forth the issues of life, or in other words, creating our realities, we really need to be careful what it is that we are thinking. If we're always thinking negative thoughts, if we're always thinking defeatist thoughts, if we're always thinking that we can't do whatever it is that God has told us that we should do, then we are basically sabotaging ourselves. So another dream killer is basically any thought. You know, the Bible talks about that we should cast down any thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. So any thought that basically tries to overtake what God has basically said of you in terms of your purpose, that's a dream killer. And you need to nip that in the bud, like the scripture says, and come into agreement with what God says of you. Okay. Another dream killer, bad habits. Okay, so there's one of my favorite quotes, I believe comes from Gandhi. Says basically something along the lines of, you know, your thoughts become words, your words become actions, your actions become character, you know, it just literally evolves just from a single thought, right? So once again, if you're having kind of negative thoughts, limiting belief systems, then that's like what's it called, a self-fulfilling prophecy. It basically comes out in your words, and it comes out in your actions. Okay, so that's also why it's so important to nip negative thought patterns in the bud, because if not, your actions are going to go in the way of your thoughts. Okay, so bad habits, that's another thing that can sabotage your dreams and can act as a dream killer. Okay, I've already alluded to what the other dream killer is, but it's your words, your words, your words, your words. We can sometimes be very guilty of praying for a particular thing to happen or wishing for a particular thing to happen, and then speaking against it, you know, using our own tongues to basically pull down the very thing that we say that we want to happen. Okay, so we need to be careful of those dream killers. So number one, to protect your dream, be discreet, but also steer clear of the pharaohs or the dream killers that I just mentioned. So the haters, negative or limiting beliefs, bad habits, and basically negative confessions out of your mouth. Okay, so guys, I hope that is making sense. Let me know in the comments if it is, and that includes you guys who are watching in terms of the replay as well. I still want you to comment. I still want you to let me know what your aha moments and what you're thinking, and I'll circle back and we'll continue the discussion. Okay, the third and final thing that I want to share in terms of how to protect your dreams is, I said it actually in the beginning, but I want to talk about it in more detail, and that is being careful about who you share your goals and dreams with. Okay, and I think there are kind of two parts to this. So the first part was something that I heard from TD Jakes a few years ago. He's one of my favorite preachers, and he was teaching about Ruth. And the fact that in the story, when she wanted to earn a living for her and Naomi, she would follow behind the reapers. She would glean behind the reapers in order to learn the skill so that she could then ultimately get paid. And one of the things that T.G. Jakes used this imagery or this illustration to show was that that's what we need to do as well. We need to glean behind the reapers. In other words, we need to follow behind the people who have already achieved what it is that we want to achieve. That if you want to start a business, there's no point consulting people or running ideas by people who have actually never done it before. You know, if in any area of life, whatever it is that you want to do, you look for the people who have done it successfully and you follow behind them. And even if they're not in your immediate sphere of influence, there's online platforms like this, the Far Above Rubies collection, the Miracle Mindset Makeover. You know, there's books, you know, there's so many different ways in this digital world and society that we live in now to access mentors and the reapers that we can ultimately glean behind. The other type of people, so the second type of people that we need to be sharing with are our peers. Okay, but not just any peers. I wrote some notes down in my phone because when I am running ideas or things like that by peers, there's a set of requirements that I tend to have, okay, and I want to share them with you. So if I'm talking about protecting my dreams and being careful who I speak to, you know, these people might not have been successful in the area that I want to go into. However, what I would look for are people that have my best interest at heart or who are trustworthy. Okay, so I'm looking for those type of people because I don't want to end up being pushed into somebody else's agenda. I want to make sure that I am speaking to people who basically have my best interests at heart. Okay, the other types of peers or even mentors that I would consider consulting are people who are attuned to my purpose or vision and know who I am as a person. So once again, not people who are going to try and pigeonhole me, me, push me towards their agenda, you know, try to control me or anything like that. I want people who know me, know my mission, know my vision, understand the calling that God has given me, so that when they are advising me, they're giving me tailored advice. That's one of the ways that I can protect my dream, and how you can as well. The other type of peer that I love to share with is, even if we're not working within the same niche, i.e., I don't know, helping women to banish the blocks, keeping them from crushing their business goals. Like perhaps I'm talking to a peer who just happens to also run a business, or happens to just have great and high aspirations, the same as me. That's the sort of person I want to be speaking to as well, because they understand the mindset. You know, it's iron sharpening iron in that case. Does that make sense? Okay. So in terms of protecting your dream, we're being discreet. We're not revealing our dreams too prematurely. We're not exposing them to the elements too prematurely. Like Jacob said, we are hiding them, not for the sake of being secretive or uppity or any of these sorts of things, but for the sake of being prudent, as the Bible says, so that in doing that, as I shared with Proverbs 2:11, we preserve ourselves and we preserve our dreams. Okay. The other thing, in terms of how to protect our dreams, we steer clear of dream killers, the pharaohs in our lives, as I outlined earlier. Okay, so the haters, negative self-talk, all of that sort of jazz. And then the third thing is about being careful who we're actually sharing our dreams with. If you are going to reveal your dreams prematurely, or whatever the case may be, make sure that you're sharing it with people who can actually help you to further the cause, i.e., the people who have actually successfully already done what you want to do, or who are on that same level and can offer that, you know, tailor-made guidance based on you and your calling, and with no kind of ill intent or, you know, agenda to control or pull you down or any of that sort of jazz. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, let me know in the comments once again whether everything I shared made sense, you know, what your aha moments were and stuff like that. I can see that people have already liked, but if you're watching even in the recap and this video blessed you, then feel free also to react, to like, to love, and, you know, let me know that you appreciate it. Also, if there's anybody that you know who needs to hear this, share it with them. As I always say, sharing is caring. And also, if you are looking for peers or for a mentor who has successfully done what you want to do in business, people who are on your level, who understand what it is that you are trying to build, people that you can be accountable to, that you can have community with, that you can mastermind with, then feel free also, if you're watching on Facebook, to click the link in the caption. That will take you to the Miracle Mindset Makeover, which is my sisterhood, that basically does everything that I just outlined for you, and it's actually 7 days free at the moment. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you can access that in the description box below. Okay, so if you want to hear more from me, if you want more videos like this, I upload them weekly. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you can be the first to be notified. Okay, and Amy, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your comments as well, and everybody else too. I will circle back to you right now. And for everyone else, have a blessed night. Take care. Well, I say night because it's night for me, but evening, morning, whatever time zone you're in. And we'll speak again next week. Okay, take care, guys. Love you. Bye.